Once the people can be tricked into believing the son of perdition is already here, along with seeing great signs, such as in famines, earthquakes and pestilences, many will have mistaken the beginning of sorrows for the wrath of Yahuwah. They will believe this is indeed Yahuwah's wrath. Therefore, when this phony really does show up on earth claiming that he is the Messiah, many will believe the strong delusion. All scripture that pertains to the second coming of Messiah and the great day of Yahuwah must be duplicated in order for the world to accept the impostor. This being will also perform miraculous miracles, such as healing diseases, curing the blind, deaf and lame, providing food for all. This is gonna be big. According to John Hagee, the chief of the EU is the Antichrist. Well, what about the Pope? I was told he was. But then again, so-and-so told me Prince Charles is. This is the blame game, beloved ones, pointing the finger at someone else to divert the attention off of the real villain. That is right, they are passing the buck off to someone else. The great old switcheroo. A man, by the name of Albert Pike, in 1870, received a vision of what would need to conspire to bring about a new world order. Of course, this man Albert Pike said that Jewish Kabbalah is the core behind the rituals in Freemasonry. He would know since he is the one who wrote the rituals to all of the 33 levels of Freemasonry. He was deep into the occult, the Illuminati. There is a statue of him in Washington, D.C. He also wrote the book, manual titled, Morals and Dogma. Even the Jewish kabbalist is waiting for the kabbalistic master to rise up during the end times. This occultic being will usher in an age of utopia, a new world order. Albert Pike wrote a letter to Mazzini describing a detailed sinister plan to the Brotherhood on how 3 wars would be needed to bring about the new world order. Please understand that the Freemasons have filtered into all religions, namely the 3 major ones, Judaism, Christianity and Islam. Yet, they are all working together, trying to outwit their opponent, humankind, the playing field, planet Earth. The public has been and will be deceived into acting upon every revolution and all 3 wars. All we can do is marvel at the precise detail of how the first 2 wars unfolded exactly as planned. As you will soon discover, the Third World War is unfolding before our very eyes. This is very disturbing because way too many are falling for it. The Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agenda of the Illuminati between the political Zionists and the leaders of Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionism, the State of Israel, mutually destroy each other. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete, physical, moral, spiritual and economical exhaustion. 3worldwars.com. To not fall for the coming orchestrated chaos. As the spirit of chaos is unleashed during these end times, we will see unity rise amongst Jews, Christians and Messianics. Once united, they will fight against the radical Islams. On a side note, Islam believes their Messiah will come when the world is in chaos. That is exactly when the impostor will show up, and not a second too early. To further prove my point, let us review the following article. Pastor John Hagee's DC meeting worries Jews, by Dave Eberhard, newsmaxdotcom. Pastor John Hagee says, Armageddon will soon strike the nation of Israel, so he's enlisting Christians to help protect Israel against an attack from Iran. Yes, this will be a planned Armageddon. Christians are not the only ones that will enlist in the war, but many Messianic believers will also. The enemies of Israel are the enemies of America, Hagee said. They are the enemies of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These enemies have drawn the battle line. If a line has to be drawn, then draw that line around both Christians and Jews. We are one. This is the unity we are talking about. Zionists like John Hagee and those members of Christians United for Israel are pushing for Armageddon. According to Hagee, the United States must join Israel in a preemptive military strike against Iran to fulfill God's plan for both Israel and the West, a biblical, prophesied end-time confrontation with Iran, which will lead to rapture, tribulation, and second coming of Christ. Did you hear that? The United States must join Israel in a preemptive military strike against Iran? This is a very wicked scheme that will soon be upon the whole world. First, the fighting will be elevated to get all nations geared up for the false Armageddon. Then the stage will be set and ready to receive the fallen star, Lucifer. Hagee identifies the Antichrist none other than the head of the European Union. According to Hagee, in the ramp-up to Armageddon, the EU chief will rule a one-world government, a one-world currency, and a one-world religion for 3.5 years. This 3.5 years is the duration of the beginning of sorrows, but will be mistakenly confused and believed to be the Great Distress, that is the Great Tribulation. More from the article. The demonic world leader will then be confronted by a false prophet, which is identified by Hagee as China, at Armageddon, the Mount of Megiddo in Israel. As they prepare for the final battle, Jesus will return on a white horse, and cast both villains and a host of non-believers, including Jewish non-believers, into a lake of fire burning with brimstone. You see, Yahushua has told us that this would be the worst time in all of history. When the long-awaited impostor shows up, we will enter in the false millennium that will usher in Jacob's trouble, known as the Great Distress. During time of great hardships, people look for two things: one, a hero, and the other, someone to blame. Remember Hitler? And who is blamed? The impostor will claim to save humankind from their own destruction. This is the strong delusion many will have fallen for. That is why this movie needs to get to as many people as possible. Much is unfolding at an accelerated rate. We must understand that the beast is not just Islam. Islam is just another card being held in the Illuminati's hands. My goodness, even Muslims believe Jesus Christ is coming back as the Messiah. Allah's messenger said, "By him, Allah, in whose hand my soul is, surely the son of Mary, Isa, Jesus, will shortly descend amongst you people, Muslims, and will judge mankind justly by the law of the Quran, as a just ruler, and will break the cross, and kill pigs, and abolish the jizyah tax." As we have uncovered, all three major religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, each hold claim to world dominion. Each has their sects of extremists. They believe fighting for their religion is justified. All non-believers are considered infidels. Each main headquarters sits on 7 hills: Mecca, Rome, Jerusalem. They claim Abraham is their father. Each is waiting for a Messiah. All three are monotheism. All three are against homosexuals. If we have failed in presenting the information needed to show that all three are puppets in Shaitan's scheme of things, then maybe the following will be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. And his number is 666. Revelation 13:18. The number of a man seems to be popping up in various places. Some say 666 is UPC barcodes, other like the Jose Luis de Jesus Miranda, a minister from Florida, had 666 tattooed on his arm along with many of his church members. Some believe it is credit cards, the calendar, even the Social Security cards, the National ID card, pyramids, or a computer chip, RFID, being implanted into the arm or forehead. My view is that all these in some way or another may be connected to the beast system. However, the mark of the beast is all about whom we worship, and is anti-Messiah.